Brian Scott with you this evening. We are pleased to be sharing with you insight to the end times. We have started several months ago to look at our timetable, that God's timetable on the end times. Where are we on his timetable? Is the time of the earth coming to a close? Where do we stand? And there's so many scriptures that deal with this, and where we have been going through so many different areas. And today, this week actually, I want to share from one of the parables in the New Testament, which has a lot of prophetic overtones and has a lot of information for us. But before we do, let's go back and just review for a brief moment or two. In the book of Genesis, God created the heavens and the earth and everything on the earth in a 6-day period. And then he had a 1-day period of rest. So the week became a 7-day week, 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. In the New Testament, in the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse number 8, the Apostle Peter said, you have to remember this. Don't forget this one thing, that a day with the Lord is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like 1 day. So when we put those two concepts together, 6 days of creation, and a day is equal to 1,000 years, we then come up with the conclusion that 6,000 years of life on earth will be followed by 1,000 years of rest. Well, we know the 1,000 years of rest is the rule and reign of Jesus Christ on the earth. It's called the millennial reign of Christ. And we know it will begin at the conclusion of the 6,000 year period. Now, are we at close to the end of that? Where might we be? Well, historically, if you review the scriptures and some of the historical records, you'll find that from the time of creation and the existence of Adam and Eve to the birth of Jesus Christ is a 4,000 year period, or 4 days, in other words. 4 of the 6 days, 4,000 years. Jesus was born from historical studies around 4 BC, 4 years before the changeover from BC to AD. And he lived on the earth for about 34 years, somewhere in that vicinity. So his death occurred, according to most of the historical writers, around 30 AD. Now, we still have 2 days left on the 6-day calendar, or 6,000 years. We have 2,000 years left. This 2,000 year period we're living in right now is called the church age, or it's called the age of grace. The previous 4,000 years was known as the age of law. But we're in the age of grace. We're in the church age. Did it begin at his birth? Did it begin at his death? In any event, not quite sure. But then again, in the scriptures, it tells us that we're not to know the exact timing. Only the Lord knows that. Even Jesus doesn't know the exact timing. And the angels of heaven don't know the exact timing of when the end of the 6-day, 6,000 year period will be. But if we were to just assume for a moment, that it begins with the death of Jesus Christ, which was around 30 AD. We're in the year 2022. 2,000 year period, or 2-day period, would conclude around 2030. Now, I'm not trying to give you a date. I'm just assuming that we're getting near the end. We're getting near the very end. And because of that, we have to be aware that things are going to speed up. And boy, aren't we seeing things speed up? iPhones, or the smartphones, there's numerous names, Samsung and so on and so forth. But you can do more on your phone than we could do on computers when I was in university. My gracious, it's just amazing. But here's a verse I want you to be aware of before we close today. It comes out of Matthew chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. Here's what it says. All these things Jesus spoke to the multitudes in parables, and without a parable, he did not speak to them. Verse 35, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things kept secret from the foundation of the world. What this verse is saying is that in the previous 4 days or 4,000 years, a lot of things were kept secret. They were like mysteries. But when Jesus came to the earth, followed by the Holy Spirit coming to the earth, all of these mysteries start to be revealed to us, and the secrets become revealed to us. And that's what I want to share with you the rest of this week, is some secrets or mysteries that are coming out of one of the parables, the parable of the Good Samaritan. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you tomorrow as we start that study. Thanks for joining us today. See you then. Bye now.